to launch a wholly unjustified and brutal invasion of of Ukraine.
While speaking in Dallas on Wednesday, former President George W. Bush made the biggest verbal slip-up of his entire life. Check this out.
In contrast, Russian elections are rigged. Political opponents are imprisoned or otherwise eliminated from participating in the electoral process. The result is an absence of checks and balances in Russia and the decision of one man to launch a wholly unjustified and brutal invasion of Ukraine. Iraq, too. Anyway, 75.
Yeah, it's funny when you're doing it, not funny when someone else is doing it. So I'm going to get to a couple of comments online and also the destruction that his invasion caused. But first here, I cannot think of a bigger slip up. I was trying to think of comparisons, to other world leaders or anyone else famous, anything that even comes close to this. I can't think of one. Here he is openly admitting, accidentally at first, that he illegally invaded Iraq, and then goes to say, oh, Iraq too, like jokingly, but he knows what he did. And then they have a big laugh, him and the crowd there. Unbelievable. And Bush, of course, is, very prone to verbal slip-ups. He has said many dumb things. The one that always comes up to mind to me, because it was in a J. Cole song. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, can't get fooled again. Like that one always is the one I think about. But this clearly is nowhere near that. I mean, this is beyond anything. So just, basic knowledge here from HuffPost. The slip-up brings to mind the former president's 2003 invasion of Iraq, a move by his administration to take away weapons of mass destruction he alleged were in the country. UN inspectors later discovered no evidence of weapons of mass destruction existed in the country before the U.S. attack. Critics have extensively panned Bush over the attack in the nearly 2 decades since. Now, in terms of the death toll in Iraq because of this illegal invasion, the numbers, of course, they're estimates because it's impossible to know the actual number, but we're talking very likely at least 1 million. So this report here from Salon back in 2018, March 19th marks 15 years since the US-UK invasion of Iraq in 2003, and the American people have no idea of the enormity of the calamity the invasion unleashed. The U.S. military has refused to keep a tally of Iraqi deaths. General Tommy Franks, the man in charge of the initial invasion, bluntly told reporters, quote, "We don't do body counts." One survey found that most Americans thought Iraqi deaths were in the tens of thousands, but our calculations, using the best information available, show a catastrophic estimate of 2.4 million Iraqi deaths since the 2003 invasion. 2 such reports on Iraq came out in the prestigious The Lancet Medical Journal, first in 2004 and then in 2006. The 2006 study estimated that about 600,000 Iraqis were killed in the first 40 months of war and occupation in Iraq, along with 54,000 non-violent but still war-related deaths. So the numbers are astronomical. And him and the crowd there laughing about it. Now, I get they're laughing about the slip up, but there has been no real, atonement here for what Bush did. No actual repercussions for the damage, destruction that his administration caused. But some reactions here. So David Sirota tweeted out, "George Bush is laughing in this clip because he knows he and every other Iraq war supporter were rewarded with riches and big media jobs for their work killing 1 million people, rather than being held accountable and shunned." And this is just fact. The majority of people that are on air still today with media jobs or reporters in newspapers that were reporting on this back then were completely wrong, yet were rewarded with better time slots, higher pay, better positions, because there is no repercussions in media or in politics for destruction like this. Last response here from Ilhan Omar. When you're guilty, consciousness catches up to you and you end up confessing, but no one cares to hold you to account. The laughing is disturbing / telling of who this man and his audience are. No care for the thousands of U.S. troops and hundreds of thousands of Iraqis who died in his war. Absolutely. So while the slip up initially is kind of almost comical because here he is admitting what he did, the reaction to it and the awareness that he will never be held accountable for this, and neither will the media that propped it up, just brings to mind how disgusting this entire situation is.